Alright, let's be real, open world games are everywhere, but some absolute bangers flew under the radar while everyone was chasing the same AAA blockbusters. In this video, we're diving into 20 underrated open world games you need to give a chance, games with jaw-dropping worlds, addictive gameplay, and stories that deserve way more love than they got. Whether you're into gritty, post-apocalyptic vibes, fantasy realms, or chaotic sandboxes, there's something in here that'll surprise you. So stick around, because you might just find your next favorite game hiding in plain sight. Which one will it be? Mad Max throws you headfirst into a brutal post-apocalyptic wasteland where survival isn't just a challenge, it's a full-on obsession. You play as Max, a lone warrior haunted by his past, who sets out to build the ultimate ride, the magnum opus, and take down savage warlords ruling the desert. The world is massive, dusty, and dangerous, packed with high-speed car combat, explosive chases, and gritty hand-to-hand brawls that feel raw and intense. It's not just about fighting, though. There's a real thrill in scavenging for scrap, upgrading your gear, and customizing your car into a total war machine. The atmosphere is soaked in that gritty Mad Max energy, with stunning visuals that make the empty desert feel alive, from burning sunsets to sandstorms that roll in like nature's fury. It's one of those games that lets you lose yourself in the chaos, carve your own path, and feel like a total badass every step of the way. Kingdom Come. Deliverance drops you right into the heart of medieval Bohemia, and it's hands down one of the most grounded and realistic RPGs out there. You play as Henry, a blacksmith's son who gets caught up in a brutal civil war after his village is wiped out. And from there, it's all about rising from nothing and carving out your place in a world that doesn't pull any punches. The game leans into historical accuracy like no other. No magic, no dragons, just gritty, authentic swordplay, deep dialogue, and a living world that reacts to your every move. Whether you're sharpening your combat skills, learning to read, sneaking into castles, or managing your hunger and sleep, everything feels immersive and earned. The landscapes are stunning too, with lush forests, detailed towns, and peaceful countryside that make you want to slow down and just take it all in. It's a game that rewards patience, pays off your choices, and makes every victory feel like you really earned it. Elex 2 is one of those wild, genre-blending games that throws you into a post-apocalyptic sci-fi world and just lets you loose to explore, fight, and make your mark however you want. You're back in the boots of Jax, the gruff hero from the first game, and this time you're up against a new alien threat while trying to unite the fractured factions of Magellana planet that's part medieval, part futuristic, and totally chaotic in the best way. The real charm of Elex 2 is how it gives you total freedom to shape your story. Whether you're siding with tech-obsessed warriors, magic-wielding zealots, or going full lone wolf. The jetpack is an absolute game-changer, letting you fly up cliffs, rooftops, and anywhere your curiosity takes you, making exploration feel fresh and vertical. Combat's got a learning curve, but it's satisfying once it clicks, and the world is packed with weird creatures, hidden loot, and cool lore to uncover. It's rough around the edges, sure, but if you're into ambitious RPGs with big ideas and a ton of personality, this one's a hidden gem that's easy to get hooked on. Sleeping Dogs is one of those underrated gems that totally nails the feeling of being in an action movie, dropping you into the neon-lit streets of Hong Kong as an undercover cop trying to take down the triads from the inside. You play as Wei Shen, a character torn between loyalty and duty, and the story hits hard with intense moments, surprising twists, and a real emotional pull. But what really makes it shine is the gameplay. Hand-to-hand combat feels smooth and brutal, with martial arts-inspired moves that make every fight super satisfying. And the driving is fast, fun, and packed with cinematic flair. The city itself is buzzing with life, from crowded markets to flashy nightclubs, and there's always something cool to do, whether it's chasing down gangsters, singing karaoke, or just cruising on a motorcycle through the rain. It's a game that blends strong storytelling with awesome gameplay and a setting that doesn't feel like anything else out there, and honestly, if you've never played it, you're seriously missing out. The Saboteur is a stylish, action-packed game that plunges you into Nazi-occupied Paris during World War II, where you play as Sean Devlin, a rebellious race car driver turned resistance fighter fueled by revenge and determination. What makes this game stand out is its unique black and white art style that gradually bursts into vibrant color as you liberate different neighborhoods, giving you a real sense of progress and impact on the world around you. The gameplay mixes open-world exploration with stealth, sabotage, and all-out action. Whether you're sneaking through enemy bases, blowing up key targets, or racing through the streets in classic cars, there's always something thrilling going on. The story is gripping, but doesn't take itself too seriously, and the setting feels alive with period-accurate details, from the gritty back alleys to the iconic landmarks. If you love games that blend history with a rebellious spirit and tons of fun gameplay moments, The Saboteur is definitely one you should give a chance.
John, I could use a hand. Keep your left up. Yeah, thanks for the tip.
Arisen 3 Titan Lords is a fantastic blend of classic RPG elements and open-world adventure that drops you into a dark fantasy world filled with magic, monsters, and mystery. You start as a hero who's just come back from the dead, literally, and now you're on a mission to reclaim your soul while navigating through dense forests, treacherous mountains, and eerie towns full of secrets and challenges. What really makes this game special is its deep character customization and meaningful choices that shape how the story unfolds, plus the combat system that's a satisfying mix of swordplay, ranged attacks, and spellcasting. The world feels lived in with detailed environments and atmospheric weather, pulling you in with its gritty charm and immersive sound design. Whether you're exploring ancient ruins, negotiating with rival factions, or battling fierce creatures, Arisen 3 offers a rewarding experience that keeps you hooked from start to finish. Mafia 3 throws you into the gritty, smoky streets of 1968 New Bordeaux, a city dripping with style, soul, and danger, where you step into the shoes of Lincoln Clay, a Vietnam vet out for revenge against the mob that betrayed him. The game nails the vibe of the era with its killer soundtrack, detailed cars, and a world full of neon signs, dive bars, and jazz-filled nightclubs that really make you feel like you're cruising through the South in the late 60s. Gameplay mixes intense gunfights, stealthy takedowns, and driving that's just smooth enough to keep things exciting without ever feeling frustrating. What really makes Mafia 3 stand out is its story. It's raw and emotional, touching on themes of loyalty, betrayal, and justice in a way that's way more personal than your average crime game. Plus, the open world is packed with side missions, gang wars, and secrets that make exploring New Bordeaux an adventure you won't want to miss. Biomutant is a wild and colorful action RPG that drops you into a post-apocalyptic world full of quirky mutant creatures and lush, vibrant landscapes that feel alive with secrets and surprises. You play as a customizable critter on a mission to save the Tree of Life while exploring sprawling open areas that blend nature and technology in cool, unexpected ways. What really sets Biomutant apart is its unique combat system that mixes fast-paced melee, ranged weapons, and special mutant powers, So every fight feels fresh and exciting, whether you're sneaking through enemy camps or going all out in epic boss battles. The story is playful, but with meaningful choices that shape how your adventure unfolds, giving you the freedom to approach challenges your own way. The visuals pop with bright colors and detailed environments, from dense forests to ruined cities, and the whole experience has a laid-back, fun vibe that makes it easy to get lost in this strange and charming world. Immortals: Fenyx Rising is a bright and energetic open-world adventure that drops you into a mythological playground, packed with humor, heart, and heroic action as you take on the role of Fenyx, a mortal suddenly thrown into a battle against ancient gods and monsters to save the Greek pantheon from chaos. The game blends smooth combat with clever puzzles and a massive, colorful world that's split into unique regions inspired by different gods, each packed with secrets, challenges, and epic moments waiting to be discovered. What makes it stand out is the way it doesn't take itself too seriously. The story is told with a fun, light-hearted tone, narrated by Zeus and Prometheus, making even the intense moments feel entertaining and fresh. From gliding over sunlit cliffs to battling giant mythical beasts and unlocking godlike abilities, every bit of gameplay feels rewarding and fast-paced, and the stylized visuals make the world feel like a living, breathing, animated tale. It's a joyful, feel-good game that's hard to put down and easy to get lost in. Dragon's Dogma. Dark Arisen is one of those rare fantasy RPGs that hooks you with its intense combat, deep customization, and a mysterious world that's just begging to be explored, all while giving you total freedom to carve out your own adventure. You play as the Arisen, a hero marked by destiny after a dragon literally steals your heart, and from there, you're thrown into a gritty, monster-filled world where danger lurks around every corner, from towering cyclopes to ruthless chimeras. The real magic lies in the game's combat, which feels weighty and dynamic, letting you climb massive creatures, Shadow of the Colossus style, cast flashy spells, or go full rogue with quick, lethal strikes. Then there's the pawn system, where you create a loyal companion and recruit others made by real players, adding a unique multiplayer twist to a fully single-player experience. Dark Arisen also adds a brutal dark expansion with Bitter Black Isle, a dungeon that pushes your skills and builds to the limit. The visuals may be a bit dated by today's standards, but the atmosphere is still thick with mystery, and the world design encourages exploration with minimal hand-holding, making every discovery feel earned. It's a cult classic for a reason, challenging, rewarding, and packed with moments that'll stick with you long after the credits roll. Days Gone throws you into a gritty emotional ride through a post-apocalyptic open world where survival isn't just about fighting off infected. It's about holding on to your humanity in a world that's completely fallen apart. You play as Deacon St. John, a rugged biker and former soldier trying to find hope after losing everything, and the story hits hard as you uncover his past, build connections, and push through one challenge after another. The game really shines with its dynamic world-massive open roads, dense forests, and eerie abandoned towns, all packed with detail and constantly shifting with weather, time of day, and threats like roaming freaker hordes or hostile humans. Combat is tense and satisfying, with stealth, crafting, and brutal takedowns playing a huge role. And Deacon's customizable motorcycle isn't just your ride, it's your lifeline, your mobile base, and your only escape when things go south. What makes Days Gone stand out is how grounded it feels. It's not about being a superhero, it's about scraping by, making tough choices, and trying to stay sane in a broken world. Whether you're sneaking through a freaker nest at night or chasing a lead on your lost love, the game keeps you on edge but still makes space for quiet, emotional moments that really stick with you.
Bounties. There we go.
Rage 2 is one of those games that just lets you go wild in the best way possible, set in a massive, chaotic wasteland where everything's cranked up to 11. You play as Walker, the Last Ranger, on a mission to bring down a twisted organization called the Authority. Right off the bat, it throws you into a neon-soaked, post-apocalyptic world filled with mutants, outlaws, and all kinds of crazy factions. And the real magic here is how over-the-top the combat feels. You've got access to ridiculously powerful weapons and wild abilities like ground slams, energy blasts, and even a mode called Overdrive that amps everything up to pure mayhem. And trust me, chaining together those moves never gets old. The open world is diverse and colorful, from dusty deserts to broken cities to swamps buzzing with danger, and the driving feels like a mix between Mad Max and a Demolition, derby fast, destructive, and fun. Visually, the game ditches the typical brown and gray apocalypse vibe and replaces it with loud colors, explosions, and a punk rock style that gives it a personality all its own. What makes Rage 2 special is how it never takes itself too seriously. It's here for the thrills, the action, and letting you feel like an unstoppable force in a lawless land. And if you're just looking to blow stuff up, speed around in weaponized vehicles, and take on the world with zero filters, this game absolutely delivers. Dying Light drops you into the middle of a zombie outbreak in the quarantined city of Arisen. And from the moment you step in, it hits you with this intense mix of survival horror and fast-paced parkour that makes every second feel like a fight to stay alive. You play as Kyle Crane, an undercover operative sent to navigate the chaos, but things quickly get personal as you get wrapped up in a brutal struggle between the infected, desperate survivors and a ruthless warlord. What really sets this game apart is the way it blends fluid, first-person parkour with brutal melee combat. You're constantly vaulting over rooftops, climbing ledges, drop-kicking zombies off buildings, and crafting all sorts of improvised weapons to survive. The world feels alive and dangerous, with a gritty, decaying beauty to its sun-scorched streets and crumbling buildings. But it's when the sun goes down that things really shift. Nightfall turns the city into a horror show, with terrifying volatiles that force you to either run like hell or die trying. It keeps you on your toes, and the day-night cycle adds a layer of strategy that makes even the most basic missions feel like high-stakes encounters. With smooth gameplay, a surprisingly emotional story, and just the right balance of exploration, action, and terror, Dying Light nails that feeling of being trapped in a nightmare, but one you can flip, climb, and fight your way through in the most satisfying way possible.
Okay. Just run to the second one. If we're lucky, those bastards weren't fast enough to get to it.
No, stay away! Stay away!
Enslaved, Odyssey to the West is one of those overlooked gems that quietly delivers a truly memorable adventure, blending cinematic storytelling with smooth action in a lush, post-apocalyptic world that feels both wild and strangely beautiful. You step into the shoes of Monkey, a rugged acrobatic loner who finds himself forced into an uneasy alliance with a tech-savvy woman named Trip after she slaps a slave headband on him. Yeah, it's intense, and makes him escort her across the ruins of a future Earth overrun by rogue machines and nature reclaiming civilization. The game shines in how it mixes fluid platforming, fast-paced melee combat, and clever teamwork between the two characters, where you're constantly solving environmental puzzles and pulling off combat combos in this colorful, overgrown world full of danger and surprises. Visually, it's a stunner. The environments are bright and vivid, with crumbling cities swallowed by greenery and massive mechanical enemies that feel like walking relics of a lost war. But it's the emotional core that really sticks with you, as the relationship between Monkey and Trip grows in ways you don't expect, turning what starts as a forced journey into something way more human and heartfelt. It's fun, it's unique, and it pulls you in with just the right mix of action, charm, and post-apocalyptic wonder.
Escape pod 4 launched. 3 pods remaining.
GreedFall is a seriously underrated RPG that drops you into a rich, fantasy-inspired world that feels like a mix between colonial-era history and high magic, where diplomacy, swordplay, and a mysterious island full of secrets all collide in one sweeping adventure. You play as Desardet, a noble from the merchant congregation sent to a newly discovered island called Tir Frati, which is teeming with strange creatures, powerful native magic, and political factions all trying to gain control. What makes this game stand out is how much freedom it gives you. Whether you want to talk your way through conflicts, sneak around as a rogue, or go full-blown warrior or magic user. The game adapts to your choices, and your decisions actually shape the story and relationships with allies and rival factions. The world is absolutely gorgeous, with dense forests, glowing ruins, and colonial towns drenched in atmosphere, and there's this constant tension between science and superstition, outsiders and locals, that gives the story a really grounded, thoughtful feel. Combat is fast and tactical, with the ability to pause time and plan your next move, while the companion system adds depth to both the gameplay and the narrative. GreedFall doesn't try to be flashy or overloaded with filler. It just delivers a surprisingly deep, story-driven RPG experience with heart, choice, and style. And if you're into character progression and moral decisions, it's definitely one worth diving into. Far Cry Primal takes you way back, seriously back to the Stone Age, where you step into the role of Takar, a hunter from the Wenja tribe just trying to survive in a brutal, untamed world where saber-toothed tigers, mammoths, and rival tribes are just as dangerous as the wilderness itself. What makes this game stand out is how it completely ditches modern weapons and vehicles for spears, bows, and clubs, forcing you to rely on primal instincts, stealth, and good old-fashioned survival skills. The world of Oros is absolutely stunning, filled with dense forests, frozen mountain peaks, and rivers that feel alive, all wrapped in this raw, immersive atmosphere that really pulls you into its prehistoric setting. You're not just fighting for your life, you're rebuilding your tribe, rescuing villagers, crafting weapons from bones and stone, and even taming wild animals like wolves and saber-tooths to fight alongside you, which is one of the coolest mechanics in the game. There's a deep sense of progress as you grow stronger, build your village, and take down enemy clans who want nothing more than to wipe you out. The storytelling is done through grunts, gestures, and a made-up ancient language, which weirdly makes it feel more real and emotional than most voice-acted cutscenes. Right, if you're looking for an open-world adventure that's refreshingly different from the usual gun-filled chaos, Far Cry Primal offers a wild, brutal, and beautiful trip to a time when survival meant everything. Outward is one of those games that doesn't hold your hand, and that's exactly what makes it so memorable. Because instead of playing as some chosen hero with epic powers, you're just a regular person trying to survive in a massive, unforgiving fantasy world, where danger comes from not just monsters and bandits, but also from hunger, exhaustion, and the freezing cold. You explore huge, beautifully crafted regions packed with ancient ruins, wild creatures, and hidden secrets, all while managing your gear, learning magic through strange rituals, and dealing with a dynamic world that keeps moving even if you fail or die. The coolest part? There's no autosave or quick reloads. You live with the consequences of your actions, which makes every decision feel more real and every battle more intense. The combat may feel clunky at first, but once you get the rhythm, combining weapons, traps, and spells becomes super satisfying. And if you team up with a friend in split screen or online co-op, the whole thing feels like a rugged shared adventure, where planning ahead and watching each other's backs makes all the difference. With its gritty survival elements, unique quest structure, and a world that rewards patience and curiosity, Outward isn't just about fighting, it's about learning, adapting, and carving out your own story in a world that doesn't care if you succeed or fail. Bound by Flame throws you into a gritty, war-torn fantasy world where demons are on the rise and hope is on the edge of extinction. And you're not just any warrior, you're a mercenary possessed by a fire demon, which means every choice you make teeters between saving the world and giving in to the beast burning inside you. The game blends real-time combat with tactical thinking, letting you switch between heavy melee attacks, stealthy strikes, and fiery magic, depending on your playstyle and how much you embrace or resist the demon's power. You'll craft weapons and armor, meet a handful of companions with their own backstories, and shape your story through dialogue choices that actually affect how the world and characters react to you. The environments have this dark, moody atmosphere, from snow-covered battlefields to cursed castles. And while the game doesn't have AAA polish, it makes up for it with heart, ambition, and a refreshing focus on player choice. It's one of those under-the-radar RPGs that isn't afraid to take risks, and if you're into stories where your inner struggle is just as dangerous as the monsters you fight, Bound by Flame delivers a solid, memorable adventure. The Technomancer drops you into a gritty sci-fi world on Mars, where technology and magic collide in the form of powerful abilities called Technomancy, and you play as a newly initiated Technomancer, navigating a complex web of factions, politics, and survival in a harsh desert environment that's as beautiful as it is dangerous. The gameplay mixes classic RPG elements like deep skill trees, meaningful dialogue choices, and branching storylines with intense real-time combat that lets you unleash electrifying powers, hack enemies, or go in with brute force depending on how you like to play. The story is rich with moral decisions that impact your alliances and the fate of the colony, making every interaction count, while the visuals paint a dusty, post-apocalyptic Mars filled with sprawling settlements, ruined technology, and vast desert landscapes that perfectly set the tone for the struggle between humanity and the unknown. What really makes the Technomancer stand out is how it blends futuristic tech with a rugged survivalist vibe, giving you a fresh RPG experience that feels both familiar and totally unique, especially if you're a fan of games where your choices shape the world around you and the fight for power is as thrilling as the combat itself. Watch Dogs 2 throws you into the vibrant and bustling streets of San Francisco, where you step into the shoes of Marcus Holloway, a young hacker with a knack for pulling off slick digital heists against corrupt corporations and shady government agencies. And what makes this game so exciting is how it blends open-world exploration with a smart, tech-savvy twist using hacking as your main weapon to manipulate everything from traffic lights to security cameras, drones, and even people's personal devices, which opens up endless creative ways to complete missions and cause some playful chaos. The story is engaging and packed with humor, highlighting the fight for freedom and privacy in a world where data is power, while the characters you meet bring a fresh, relatable vibe that keeps things fun and grounded. Visually, the game shines with a colorful, lively city full of diverse neighborhoods, street art, and detailed environments that make San Francisco feel alive and inviting, whether you're cruising on your bike, hacking a billboard, or sneaking through high-tech buildings. What really makes Watch Dogs 2 stand out is its laid-back yet clever approach to modern-day issues wrapped in thrilling gameplay, making it a perfect mix of action, strategy, and a bit of social commentary that's both entertaining and thought-provoking, especially if you love games where brains and gadgets are just as important as firepower.
Check it out.
See, had you mind your business and just got shocked, maybe you'd probably still be living. But now you did.
Smart, stubborn, or both.
All right, that's a wrap on these 20 underrated open-world games that seriously deserve way more love. So thanks a ton for sticking around and hanging out with me today. I'd love to hear which hidden gems you've tried or what's on your must-play list. So drop your thoughts down in the comments below and let's get the conversation going. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more awesome gaming content coming your way from proawplayer, where we're always on the hunt for the coolest games you might have missed. And just between us, the next video is going to dive into some truly epic stories that'll pull you right in, so make sure you don't miss out. Catch you all in the next one.